Hi and welcome to today's live chapter reading of Fight for It by Amy L Gale, courtesy of Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1, Beware the Kraken. Sure, having Ray the Wrecker Wilson back here in Sunset Cove is the talk of the town, but everyone doesn't need to lose their minds. I haven't had people line up outside my real estate office, well, ever. I guess it's kind of cool, a boxing legend returning to Sunset Cove. Other than Ray, our celebrity status stops at the local news anchors. Ray puts his fist up to Mason's chin and they both smile. Flashes of light fill the room. Am I at a Hollywood premiere? I didn't even know there were this many reporters in our small beach town. Might as well enjoy my 15 minutes of fame. I pat down my navy blazer and toss my hair over a shoulder as Ray approaches. Glad I had time for a dye job and some highlights. I'm guessing the photo ops will be endless. My mind races back to high school. Ray and my brother Rick were joined at the hip. I take a deep breath and flash a $1,000,000 smile. Why the hell am I so nervous? It's not like he'll remember I'm Rick's kid sister. I've come a long way from those days, just like him. Ray walks towards me. I breathe slowly, trying to control my heart rate, which tripled in the last 5 seconds. He runs a hand through his thick brown hair, and I'm transported back to Fillmore High. Every time Ray walked into a room, he ran those fingers through his hair. It's like it was his trademark. I guess it still holds true. My brother Rick used to call the move the panty dropper. Girls flock to Ray like moths flying towards a light, unable to stop themselves. Jesus, does it have the same effect on me? Ray Wilson, we spoke on the phone. He holds out his hand. I lift my hand to meet his, trying to stop it from trembling. He squints and tips his chin to the side. Lise Adams? I flash a light and nod. Well, Alyssa Higgins. Well, for now. He lunges forward and pulls me into a bear hug, just about sweeping me off my feet. I'd know those green eyes anywhere. He releases me and takes a step back. Look at you, you're gorgeous. I let out a chuckle like a schoolgirl back in the 1950s who'd just been asked to the prom by the captain of the football team. It's been a long time since anyone has complimented me on my looks. It's great to see you, Ray. It's not like I could tell him I had a major crush on him for my whole high school career. It doesn't matter anyway. I'm here to help him buy the Kraken Bar and Grill, not flirt. He turns back towards the reporters for a second and then slings an arm around my shoulder. Get one of me and Liz for the paper. She's setting me up with the Kraken and it's going to be better than ever. Tingles sweat from my head to my toes the second he touches me. My body temperature skyrockets to about 1,000 degrees. I flash the best smile I can and take a step back. Okay, do you guys have everything you need? I say to the reporters, flashing lights at me like I'm at a 90s nightclub. If I don't get some space between Ray and I, there's a good chance I'll burst into flames. Yes, Miss Higgins, we're all set. Ray, good luck with your new business, and it's great to have you back. The head reporter tips his head at Ray. Best place in the world to be, Ray waves, and he turns towards me. Oh, right, the paperwork. I have about 100 papers for you to sign to make this official. I search his face. Perfect jawline, blue eyes that can pierce an armoured truck, and skin so smooth any girl would kill for it. No wonder everyone always said he was way too pretty to be a boxer. He's like a white tiger, astonishing to look at, but deadly if the situation requires. That sexy smile hasn't left his face since he walked into the room. Sounds like it'll take forever. How about some lunch while I sign my life away? Ray gestures towards the door. Okay, Ray's super sweet. Always has been, but I need to keep this professional. Besides, news spreads through Sunset Cove like fireworks. My recent ex-husband Jared would have 2 birds and a chicken if he heard that I was at lunch with Ray. Since he and his brother run the town, I have to watch myself since Jared's wounds from the divorce are still fresh. I open my mouth to speak, but Ray beats me to it. Come on, Liz, let's hit Johnny's diner. He nudges me with his elbow. Remember that time you dumped your chocolate milkshake on Connie D'Amico? Oh God, I completely forgot about it. Connie was dating my brother and cheated on him with one of the guys on the basketball team. Rick, who fell in love more times than Kiss had farewell tours, was broken up by it. When Connie came in flaunting her new man in front of Rick and Ray, I couldn't stand seeing my brother hurt. I jumped up from the booth I was sitting in with my friends and grabbed the first thing in front of me, my chocolate shake, and dumped it all over her. Of course, it turned into an all-out brawl, with hair pulling and the works. Connie ran out of Johnny's diner with tears streaming down her face, and everyone in the crowded place cheered for me. I know, not the most mature way to handle the situation, but I'd do anything for my brother. You mess with him, you mess with me. Wish he was here with me now. I need him more than ever. I let out an involuntary sigh. Please don't let Ray notice. Ray always had our back too, whenever he believes it or not. Screw Jared and his cronies. Ray's family. She had it coming, I nudged Ray back. I'll try to refrain from any milkshake dumping, although if Jared's there I might not be able to keep that promise. The bell rings as Ray pushes open the door, holding it for me like the gentleman he's always been. How the hell can someone so sweet pummel his opponent to the ground like they're mortal enemies? Maybe boxing's like politics. You love him one day and hate him the next. Of course, Jared's family is the dirtiest of politicians. Sweet to your face and would sell your firstborn behind your back. I can't believe his father was the mayor up until he passed away 5 years ago. Didn't know you can ride the coattails of someone no longer with us for that long, but Jared has made a career of it. A wave of nausea flows through me. I need to erase any thoughts of Jared from my mind, or I'll never hold down my food. See that booth right over there? Ray points to the last booth on the right. After we won our first Little League game, Coach Carter took us all out for burgers and shakes. Rick was sitting by himself, and I asked if he could sit with him. The rest is history. Beginning of an era started right there. Hey, Johnny! Jared strolls into the diner like he's walking into the Academy Awards ceremony. He looks towards Ray and snickers. Alert the press, celebrities on site. He smirks. Maybe we can get a few more pictures of Ray punching kids in the face. Nausea flows through my body the second I hear that voice. God forbid he leaves me alone for one day that's important in growing my business. Ray swings his head around like he just ducked from a jab. I'm free for face-punching photos if you need one of me and you. An involuntary smile graces my face. There's nothing I'd like to see more than for Ray to pummel Jared, but that's not the way we solve things as adults, right? I turn towards Ray and nudge him closer to the booth. Jared wants a rise out of him, and this time he's not getting what he wants. Well, another new era starts right now. I clutch my papers and march towards the booth. Ray follows, looking back at Jared as he makes his way closer. Yeah, it's all about new beginnings. He flashes a smile, more to hide the frown that seems to appear when the reality of the situation hits him. Rick has gone, but he lives in every part of this town. Everywhere you look is a memory you can't escape. That's pretty much why my parents moved the year after he died, right around the time I met Jared. It's near impossible to forget and move on. I'm the only idiot who thought I was in love and couldn't bear to leave Jared. Emptiness fills the pit of my stomach. How could I have been so naive? Ray slides in the booth and runs his hands along the vinyl seat. I plop in the seat across from him, trying not to think too much or I'll burst into tears. And from the way he's acting, he might too. I need to bring him back to the present. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Jared. He shoots a death glare in our direction and leaves with a takeout order. Thank God. I drop a stack of papers on the table. The force causes a few napkins to slide around. You should probably stretch your fingers if they don't cramp. My hands threw a lot of punches. Am I going to be able to do this in one sitting? He winks. If not, guess it'll be dinner next time. Heat flushes across my cheeks. I'm sure there are 100 shades of scarlet. Is he being nice or hitting on me? Dear God, what am I thinking? Like it matters. The last thing I need in my life is more complications. Even if my all-time crush is finally asking me out on a date like I dreamed of forever. Let's see how far we get. Okay, not the best response, but it's better than jumping across the table and tackling him like every ounce of my being wants to do. I always put the sign here stickers on all of my clients' papers. It makes things easier and I don't have to hear the question, where do I sign, every 5 seconds. I turn to page 3, sign and date here. I hold up a finger. Do you want to read through anything first? Even though I'm sure your attorney has checked the paperwork. I trust you, Liz. He signs and looks up at me, his gaze burning a hole in my soul. I turn to the next page, steadying my trembling hand. If he keeps this up, I'll have 1,000 paper cuts before we order drinks. I flip through and he signs away. The whole deal is all cash, and since Ray and Lou Johnson, the Kraken's original owner, went through the sales agreement with a fine-tooth comb, Lou signed with his witness in New York, and Ray signs here with me as his witness. Since the two, along with their lawyers, agreed on these terms, after today it's a done deal. A weird deal, but a final nonetheless. I point to the last page. He signs and clicks his pen closed. That's it. Quicker than our waitress. He nods over at Rochelle Brown, another Fillmore High alumni, who's juggling a mortgage, 2 kids, and a cheating ex-husband, trying to take every penny she earns. What is it with the guys in this town? Ray must be the only halfway decent one. Dear God, please don't let the curse of Sunset Cove fall upon him. She looks up and sees us staring at her. Be right there. She almost drops the tray with the 5 glasses and 2 platters on it. Damn it, I didn't mean to rush her. Hi, Rochelle. Take your time, I wave. Ray pulls a laminated menu from the slot attached to the wall and hands it to me. Burgers and shakes, or do you want to browse? I take the menu and shove it back in the slot. How can you order anything else? Johnny's Diner is known for its burgers and shakes. There's a whole wall of celebrities who've travelled through and took their picture with Johnny, every one of them holding a shake. It's sacrilege to order anything else. Rochelle jogs over out of breath. She grabs a pen from behind her messy brown bun and pulls out a tablet. What'll you have? She looks up and almost jumps back. Ray Wilson, right? He nods, in the flesh. He rubs his chin. Rochelle, right? From Fillmore High? She chuckles, pretty much like every girl who comes in contact with Ray seems to do, and tips her chin towards him. Yeah, didn't think you'd know who I was back then, or now. Of course I remember. Great to see you. We'll have 2 cheeseburgers and 2 chocolate shakes. I'll be right out. She jots down the order and scurries away. Smooth. I rest my chin in my hand and tap my fingers along her cheeks. You don't remember her at all, do you? He nods. Sure I do. I just didn't remember her name until you said it. He nibbles his lip, just like Rick did every time he was lying. Bullshit. He jerks his head back. What did you say? You and Rick were always the worst liars. That's why I kicked your ass in the card game. Bullshit. Ha! And I thought you were psychic or something. He sits back and stretches his arms. I follow the movements of every muscle. His body flows like it's following a choreographed dance. Dear God, how can a human have that many muscles in their arms? Rochelle steps in and breaks my trance. Burgers will be a minute or 2. She slides the shakes in front of us and takes off. Ray sips his. His eyes light up like a kid's on Christmas morning. Nectar of the gods. I sip mine and get a brain freeze. I hold my hand to my forehead. Worth the pain. I drop my hand back down to the table. Guess you're better at dumping them. I roll my straw paper and toss at him. He takes another sip back and sits back. So what's your story? You're Alyssa Higgins now? Like the mayor? Great. A trip down memory lane. It's times like this I wish I had amnesia. I take a deep breath and slowly exhale. I'll give him the short version. I shrug. It's not that exciting of a story. I met Jared at Sunset Cove Community College. My parents were packing up to move and I had the choice of going with them or staying. I decided to stay to finish up my associate's degree. I sip my chocolate shake, letting the icy sensation fill my mind with sweetness rather than regret. Can't blame them. I wouldn't have been able to stay if I was here in the first place like I should have been. Ray looks down, his eyes empty. I put my hand over his. You got to let go. Even if you were here, you couldn't have changed anything. Who knows, it could have been worse. You could have both been gone. I look down at my hand on his and quickly take mine away. What am I thinking? Every eye in the diner has been on his since we walked in. No reason to give them dirt to gossip about. The joy of living in a small town. No one can mind their own business. He looks up at me, his eyes locking with mine. Doesn't matter, I should have been there. Rochelle struts over, putting a cheeseburger platter in front of each of us. You guys need anything else? Ray shakes his head. No thanks. I flash a smile. Got to hand it for her. She has perfect timing. Maybe she can read people from waitressing here for so long, or maybe divine intervention is on my side. Ray jerks his head as if to bring him back to reality. So back to you. You stayed after your parents left. So much for changing the subject. I nod. I finished school, got married, it didn't work out, and here we are. I smile and bite a huge chunk of my cheeseburger. Ray grabs his and takes a mouthful. Oh my God, he mumbles in between chewing. How the hell did I forget how good these taste? Really? You lived in Vegas for years. Don't they have every cuisine known to man? 5-star restaurants don't exist in Sunset Cove. Not this. He finishes the burger in 3 more bites. The Kraken had the best crab cakes that exist. I negotiated with Lou to get the recipe. He wipes the ketchup off his lip with a napkin. I lean back in my seat, an involuntary smile forming on my face. The Kraken was the place to be. I literally went there after every major moment of my life. Prom, graduation, the first time I... He holds back a smile. Same here. This town needs the Kraken. Hell, I need the Kraken.